So Dead Rising 4 is here. 10 years or so after the original Dead Rising 1, we'll call it, was released, featuring the Mall and Frank West. The latest Dead Rising 4 has gone back to its roots with Frank West, the Mall, but this time set at Christmas. Unfortunately, it's not the same. So Frank West isn't the same Frank West, and the Mall isn't the same Mall. It's just for sort of titles and for selling games, I guess, which is fair enough. But if you're looking to play Dead Rising 4 and get taken back 10 years to play the original Dead Rising, a massive wave of nostalgia, it won't happen. Nothing has carried over. Certainly that I've seen anyway. I spent hours running around looking for Jill's sandwiches and couldn't find it anywhere. But that's not to say it's a bad game. It's just to say that it's not the game, for example, I was hoping for. So where does that leave us? We've got Frank West and the Willamette Mall together again, but this time set at Christmas. However, they're not the same. It's not the same Frank West and it's not the same Mall. What that does mean for me is I think this game should be treated completely separately. And while it does feature many throwbacks and references to the old lore and story of Dead Rising 4 should be treated as its own independent game. The Frank West isn't the same, the Willamette Mall isn't the same, and the mechanics aren't the same as the original. So it really should be considered a sequel to Dead Rising 3, but not necessarily Dead Rising 1 or even 2. But that aside, is Dead Rising 4 even fun to play? Yes, absolutely, undoubtedly, unequivocally, it is absolutely always fun. The amount of weapons, the added horsepower of the Xbox One. I mean, it's Dead Rising 3 in essence, just on steroids. So you've got the blueprints, you've got the sheer enormity of weapons and vehicles at your disposal. But it just means slaying hordes of zombies is just utterly satisfying, and it will keep you coming back for more. Couple that with a semi-interesting story, and you've got yourself a single-player campaign that's easily got enough to keep you coming back. Unfortunately, the game is a little on the short side. It's taken me just over a day to complete the game. Not 100%, I haven't got all the collectibles or anything, but the main story from A to B has taken me just over a day, which is a little disappointing. And the fact it's so easy means that people should have no problem doing this in a day if they really wanted to. But it's not necessarily about that, it's about having fun, and that's what Dead Rising 4 is. Running around carving up zombies with the most ridiculous contraptions and weapons and vehicles, and smiling as you're doing it, which it does with aplomb. Graphically, Dead Rising 4 is nothing special, although it does maintain a 30 FPS throughout, so even when you're battling thousands upon thousands of zombies at once in your exosuit, car or on foot, the 30 FPS performance is maintained, and I haven't experienced any stutter or any slowdown. Certainly when compared to Dead Rising 3 on the PC, I know there were massive issues with the port, but Xbox One doesn't have that issue, and Dead Rising 4 runs buttery smooth, or as well as it can do, based on the hardware. Graphics are okay, but nothing more than that. The palette is vibrant, but the textures and the models just seem a little low res. Dead Rising 4 gameplay is classic Dead Rising. It's a mission by mission structure, which is pretty linear. You encounter maniacs and psychopaths along the way, which you dispatch with consummate ease in comparison to other games. You pick up weapons, you pick up vehicles, and you can build new weapons and vehicles with the blueprints that you find. There are other collectibles such as mobile phones as well dotted throughout the land, so if you're looking to get all the achievements or 100% completion, you'll be doing those or collecting those. Thankfully, Capcom Vancouver have ditched the timer and the dependence on AI, so you don't have to rely on AI or the timer if you want to get the missions done. You're free to do whatever you want at your own pace, which is absolutely fucking brilliant. Annoyingly, in previous games, if you wanted to run around and kill things, you had to do it based on a schedule, and hopefully the time wouldn't run out. If it did, it was game over and you had to reload your previous save. Which actually brings me on to another point, is all the saves are checkpoint based, so you don't have to go into a toilet to save. It's all done automatically, which is another great feature. I must say I was quite excited to hear about the co-op side of things, because Dead Rising 3's co-op was such fun. 4-player co-op running around in the Willamette Mall and surrounding areas. Absolutely world class, even better if it's story or it's tied into the story. Unfortunately, this isn't the case. The co-op on Dead Rising 4 is all based on a series of mini-games within the Willamette Mall, so if you're looking to do the story with a friend, you're fresh out of luck. And while Dead Rising 4 is fun, it's by no means perfect. I've encountered numerous bugs with animations and clipping and zombies coming through walls and just general AI issues in terms of running into walls and not actually attacking me. But then again, the game is so vast, it's understandable, but it sort of does feel like that potentially Dead Rising 4 was rushed out for a holiday sale and certain things were overlooked. Dead Rising 4 is a solid entry in the franchise, but it's now starting to become a tad stale. It's nothing like the original Dead Rising 1, and there is no element of difficulty. So if you're looking for an easy game to play over Christmas, then Dead Rising 4 is certainly entertaining and it's certainly easy. I can't recommend it to buy unless you're an absolute die-hard fan, but certainly it's worth playing or renting. I give it a 7 out of 10.